The coaches are in. When you need a timely, transparent friend, tune into the coaches are in. Talking career, business, health, and wealth. You've got a friend now into the coaches are in. With authenticity, come on, let's take a seat and tune in.
All right, ladies, we are back for season two. Yes. Of The Coaches Are In. We are excited to be here with you and to bring you another season.
Yes, we made it.
We did. We made it. We made it. Yes. And this season is going to be even better than season one was. We are adding some new things to what we're doing on the show this season. We're going to continue to have our guest experts, but we're also going to be spotlighting Black women who are giving back to their community in different ways. So we're excited about those special guests.
That's going to be good.
Yes. And then we're also adding in a book club component to the show.
Tell us more.
Well, I am going to tell them over at the end of the show.
Okay. You don't have to wait.
Wait till the end of the show. And you'll hear all of the details about it and find out what book we're reading and all of that good stuff. But this is really going to be a great season. Yeah. I'm so excited for it. And I'm especially excited about what you're going to gain from it.
Yes. Shout out to Dr. Cherita too, by the way. The visionary. Absolutely.
Yes. And with that said, let me go ahead and introduce myself.
Speaking of, in your own words.
Yes, I am Dr. Cherita Weatherspoon, the creator of The Coaches Are In. Outside of that, I am also an alignment coach and business strategist, and I work with Black women entrepreneurs who are seeking to realign their businesses, spiritual and lifestyle, and then operational alignment within their business so that their business supports their lives and the things that they desire. Because more than anything, right, you want the work that you do on a daily basis, that thing you spend in 40, maybe 40 plus hours a week on, to really allow you to do the things that are most important to you in your personal life. Yes. So I'm helping my sisters to get all of that straight so that they can really love and enjoy their lives and their business.
That's good. Yes. That's good. I'm Dr. Malaika. I'm back. I'm actually Dr. Malika. Okay, I don't know that. Anyway,
in real life.
I'm Dr. Malika. I'm back. I love this. I can't wait for season 2. But I am the host of the Pivot podcast. I am also the founder and CEO of the Speak Her LLC. I just thought of this idea of it being a motivation house. Like we just motivate women in various different ways, right? Through coaching and training. So just excited to be here, and especially on The Coaches Are In, I specifically focused on building your confidence and providing you with some advice on how you can be more confident in who you are as a woman and how you show up in the world.
We need more of that.
Yes.
Well, I am Allison Garrett. I am your behavioral interventionist, and I work with professional women, and I help them understand what has them stuck without years of therapy. So that is dissecting your patterns, find out why you do what you do, so that you don't do no more.
Right. That's not the pattern.
Yeah, break it. Break it. All right, so here's what we have for you on tonight's episode. All right, now, so we are kicking off this episode with I think it's all of our favorite segment.
I think so. Yes.
The viewer questions.
Yes.
That's why we're here, right?
Yes, absolutely. Get a little taste of what we can provide.
Yes. And, hopefully the responses that we give, that you're not just listening for entertainment purposes,
Right.
but you're listening to see what you can glean from the responses for your own life. Because that's really what it is about. We're speaking to a particular person, but we're speaking to all of you and ourselves.
Yes.
I've been able to pull from the answers, as well.
I'm like, ooh, that's good.
That is good.
All right, so this week's question. So our sister says, hey there, coaches.
Hey.
I have an important presentation coming up. If I do well on this, I may get a promotion.
Ooh.
But I always get nervous speaking in public. How can I boost my confidence and get over this stage fright once and for all?
Mm-hmm. Let me hop on that.
Yes.
I think
Hop
you
on
should.
that. Here's the thing. What is the motivating factor? What is motivating you? The idea, sis, that you are, at the end of this, you will get a promotion. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
A potential promotion. Right. And so let that be let's start right there. Okay. If I do well and I perform well or present well, I'm going to get a promotion. Therefore, don't let your nerves overwhelm the success of your presentation. What you want to do is make sure that you know the information, right? Mm-hmm. She wants to make sure that she is prepared, that she has everything that she knows they're looking for in the presentation, and practice.
Mm.
Practice. And we don't know if it's on Zoom or if it's in person, but practice. And here are some practical tips when you're practicing for speaking engagements. Where are your hands? Record yourself so that you can hear your voice, and practice the terms that you plan to use. Right, and once you practice the presentation, get the terms and the things, how you want to word, how you want to use your hands. I also want you to put together a triangle in the room so that you can look to the left, to the right, and if you're in a physical room, you can look ahead. So you have the people, one person to the left, one person to the right, and someone in front of you. That's your triangle. And so having that eye contact is going to make a world of difference. And so those are some practical tips. You've got this. You are already in a position where you have been afforded the opportunity to do this presentation. They want to take you to the next level. So go in there and show them what you can do. Are you going to be nervous? Even if you practice, trust me, someone who loves speaking, you're still going to be nervous. Okay? But it's the preparation, the self-talk, what you tell yourself, I got this, I was born for this, I can do this, I am excellent, I'm an excellent speaker. Speak the opposite of what you're feeling and keep feeding yourself that positivity. And I believe that you're going to knock this thing out. I don't know, ladies, what do you think?
Ooh, you know what I think?
What do you think?
I think I want to know exactly what part of this she's really afraid of.
Okay, that's a good question.
Because even with everything that you said, all those things, I was even thinking practice when you were sharing this. Practice it, figure out what that looks like. But ask yourself a question a little bit deeper and ask why. What is it that I'm really afraid of? Is it the person or the people that you're going to be presenting in front of? Because that could be something to focus on to understand how you can better communicate in front of those people.
Absolutely.
Because you have some people that you can present in front of and probably not have a thought about it at all, right? Depending on your position. So I would think about that. I would think do a deep dive into what is it that you're exactly afraid of. And then continue to follow those steps. So if you know why, now you know you're practicing, but what are you going to practice? You're going to practice saying it in front of a person, or there's some pre-work, right? Maybe you need to do a little homework on the people that you're presenting in front of, because that way you can speak their language in a sense of I'm understanding who my audience really is.
Yes.
So that you're not just presenting with the information, but what is it that this particular audience really cares about the most? And then kind of work back from that. But
That's good.
All good stuff.
That's good.
Yeah. So I think my thought is to reframe your perspective on the whole situation. You know, she's talking about like being afraid to speak publicly or public speaking, but this is not speaking to the public. If it's your place of employment, first of all.
Right.
There is familiarity there, you know,
That's
so
good.
don't view them as strangers.
That's good.
You know, that even if you don't know everyone in the room, you're going to know somebody in the room, even if it's your manager, right? And just, you know, focus on the relationship and the knowledge that exists already for that audience, right? And recognize I'm not speaking to a room full of strangers who don't care anything about me, who don't know anything about me.
Right.
The fact that you're in the position to give the presentation speaks volumes.
Gives you
Because not
something.
everybody has the opportunity to
Yep.
do that,
Exactly.
right? And then the other thing is, she mentioned stage fright. You're not performing, like you're not an actor. You don't have to get up there and put on a show.
Yes.
All you're doing is sharing what you know, your expertise. And again, they wouldn't be asking you to do it
Right.
If you didn't know.
Thinking about, you know, do you facilitate meetings already? You know, this is just a little longer, right? So thinking about the things you already do, or what are some of the things you might do in the community where you have to present information. Let's package it differently. Like you said, let's reframe.
That's good.
Right. Yeah. And then I would just say to focus on, like, you may get a promotion based on this presentation, but let's just assume that you're going to get the promotion based on it, and show up like, once I finish this, my promotion is coming.
That's right.
Because you'll show up differently for the presentation if you know that is the outcome versus it may be the outcome.
Right. I know.
You kind of go in there like,
I know.
well, maybe it won't work, and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Exactly. Like this today, right now, in front of these
Exactly.
people, this is going to change
This
the
is my
trajectory
time.
of my career, right? And you show up with that.
Attitude.
Exactly.
Yep.
It'll make you wear that favorite outfit too.
That's right.
Got a little swag.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So I think you're going to do well. We can't wait to hear how it goes.
Yes.
Sure. Gotta let us know.
Yes, let us know. All right, so we're going to wrap that segment, and I want you to stay tuned for what's next on The Coaches Are In. I'm excited to introduce you to one of our guest experts this season, Seneca Williams. Seneca is an entrepreneur, a therapist, and a coach. She supports careerpreneurs and entrepreneurs in conquering business anxiety and burnout so they can launch and grow successful online service-based businesses. Seneca, welcome to The Coaches Are In.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and talk to the community.
Awesome. Now, before we jump in, I just want to share with our audience about how we know each other. I like to be transparent, so when relationship already exists, I do like to acknowledge that. So we both did some work to support Black Woman CEO a couple of years ago. And I know I was a coaching client as well in one of her programs. Were you also a client?
Yes, I definitely was a client before becoming a coach in the community.
Yeah. So ladies, coaches need coaches and therapists need therapists, right?
Definitely.
Yes. Now, based on the work you do as a therapist, a coach, and also being an entrepreneur, there are so many topics that we could discuss that blend your education, your expertise, and your experience. But what I want to talk with you about today, and what I want our audience to gain from this topic of Black Superwoman Syndrome, is just how important it is, And I think the topic is always timely. Like, I don't know if there's ever been a stage in history where Black women were not acted as superwomen. And for me, personally, it was something that I suffered from or struggled through for most of my adult life from the time I got married, probably until about 5 years ago. And I would say now I'm probably a recovering superwoman. Mm-hmm. So not fully free of it. It creeps up in there, shows its head every now and then, but I'm doing much better than I was a few years ago. So let's go ahead and dive into this topic. First, tell us what the Black Superwoman Syndrome is.
Okay, so we are so used to walking around with this S on our chest and saying, I am a strong Black woman, which is amazing. It's wonderful. It's empowering. However, just as empowering as it is, it also leads to a lot of our burnout. Mm-hmm. This sense and this feeling that I have to be everything to everyone all the time. That in itself is the syndrome. I have to be everything to everyone all the time. And oftentimes we feel like we are the go-to person that has no one to go to. And sometimes we didn't even ask for this, Kate. We didn't even ask for this position, but we're just in it and we don't know how to resign from it or step back from it. Mm-hmm. So Black Superwoman Syndrome, basically Black women have learned, it's a learned behavior. We have learned how to show up during adversity, trauma, setbacks, disappointment. And I'll tell you something really interesting. When I've talked about Black Superwoman Syndrome, like if I was doing a workshop or talking to a group or something like that, I usually ask women to close their eyes, like take a deep breath, close their eyes, and think back to the first time you remember having to be strong. When was the first time? Can you remember, Cherita, like the first time you had to be strong?
I don't know if I can remember the first time, but I feel like I can't remember a time where I wasn't. Even, wow. As a child, there were just these expectations of how you would show up and how you would engage with other people and how you would behave. And I think I've always known, like, even though the expectations were not stated, in many cases they were there, and I was just striving to live up to them.
And we have that in common, so many of us. So either you remember the first time, or you remember when you started feeling that way, or you can't remember a time it didn't exist. When I asked women this, they usually start saying ages that are pre-adolescence. Mm-hmm. I can remember my first time. I was 5 years old. I was 5. I was staying in the hospital overnight because I had lead poisoning, and my parents, they had to work. So they couldn't stay with me overnight in the hospital. And I remember the other kids having their moms or somebody staying with them overnight. And I remember this till this day. I remember thinking, I have to be strong. I can't cry, and I can't let my parents know that anything is wrong with me or I'm scared, because they need to go to work. They had my little baby brother at home to take care of. They had my grandmother at home to take care of. So I knew that I had to protect their feelings.
Right.
That in its essence is also the Black Superwoman Syndrome. Mm-hmm. Are pushing our feelings to the side to protect others.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 5 years old. That's really deep. That is really deep. So you could, obviously a 5-year-old in a hospital setting is going to have some fear or anxiety anyway, and not being able to be the child that you were, to express those natural emotions. So nothing's wrong with them, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing at all is wrong with having the emotion, but feeling that you couldn't even express that, and having to be more concerned about what the adults in your life were going through and how they would respond and react to your emotions. and bearing the weight that comes along with that. That's very deep. Very deep.
It's real and it stays with us. That's why when we're older, we're like, I can't remember a time when I wasn't that, because some of us were big sisters and we were taking care of younger siblings. Some of us were latchkey kids. I don't know if you remember that. Like, you came home after school, you had to make sure you fixed something to eat or, do something like that until your parents came home from work. So many of us do not remember a time of just being free. So now you hear a lot of people pushing back and wanting the soft life.
Yes. Soft life. That's a whole nother conversation. Oh my goodness. So how do we differentiate between having the Black Superwoman Syndrome and just being, let's say, an ambitious woman or a woman who is genuinely gifted at a lot of things and can easily carry the weight, who is a natural nurturer, you know what I mean? Like, how do you differentiate between what is really me as a person? This is how I was born, versus this is the identity that has been thrusted on me.
I'll give an example, going back to the pandemic. Most of my clients are very high achieving Black women in therapy and in coaching, very high achievers. And some of them were managers or supervisors. And during the pandemic, even though they excelled at their job, they were now required to show up and be the diversity, equity, inclusion coach, or the director of let's talk about systemic racism in the workplace. And that pressure was really heavy. Even though they could do it, even though they were high achievers, they started to notice, like, I feel depleted, I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out, I feel conflict, like I can't have my own emotions because I have to show up and not be an angry Black woman. I have to protect your feelings. So it's okay to be strong. It's okay to be a high achiever, but you notice it in how it starts to affect you, either emotionally or physically. And if you start noticing negative side effects from it, either like feeling down, not feeling like yourself, not feeling like you want to show up, feeling exhausted, not interested in participating, or you notice I'm having more headaches, or I'm eating more than usual, I'm like emotionally eating, I have back pains, I have all these other things going on, I don't feel like my best self. Now you know something is going on here when I'm choosing other people over myself.
Okay, that's good. So what are the long-term effects of being this superwoman? Because I think that many of us think, even if we can definitively identify, yes, I have taken on this role and I don't like it, whatever the case may be, but they think it's just a phase, that this is just where I am at this point in my life and this is what I have to do. And they don't see themselves operating like that forever, but then it ends up kind of being a longer time that they are doing it than they anticipated. But what do you see as kind of lingering later on, because we've stayed in that mode so long of being everything to everyone to the detriment of ourselves in many cases?
Okay. I'll give examples of people pleasing. That comes up a lot, people pleasing. And on the surface, it looks good, right? Like, I'm helping people, they're happy, I feel good when they're happy, but is it at the expense of your own needs? Do you feel obligated versus I want to do this? Not having boundaries for yourself. A lot of us are walking around saying like, oh yeah, I have boundaries, but we don't enforce them. We don't communicate our boundaries. We don't hold people to respect our boundaries. Sometimes we don't even respect our own boundaries for ourselves. So that's how it shows up. And then over time, it develops into, I have anxiety. I feel panic and I don't even know why. Why am I having heart palpitations? Why am I having nightmares? I'm having trouble sleeping. Why do I feel down? Why am I not taking care of myself? I feel depressed. Is this depression? I'm functioning, I'm going and doing the things, but I don't understand why I feel this way. So over time, it shows up in what seems like natural behaviors to have for us. So this manifests in people pleasing, not having boundaries, not enforcing boundaries, which shows up in us feeling anxious. We're having heart palpitations. We can't concentrate. We can't sleep. We're having trouble sleeping. Or even it shows up in our body and how we feel. We have loss of interest. We're sleeping more than usual. So all of these things end up leading us to the anxiety and depressive disorders. And now we find our way to therapy. And we have to go to therapy to work our way backwards and figure out, why is all of this happening? Where did this come from?
So how do you propose that we begin to shift? And then what are we shifting to? Like, what are we aspiring to be if we're no longer going to be Superwoman?
That's a great question, because many of us feel like we don't have choice. We don't have freedom. We don't have options. So it starts with the choice of, what do you want? What is it that you want in your life? That's a scary question for some people because they feel like they can't choose. If you think about when your Superwoman Syndrome, your Black Superwoman Syndrome started developing and you learned these things, those weren't choices that we made. It was chosen for us.
Right.
So now we have to choose. What do I want my life to look like? How do I want to show up? So you make that decision. You can get help for it. You can go to therapy. And you learn how to stop people pleasing, how to set these boundaries, how to take care of yourself, how to say no and not feel guilty, how to help without depleting yourself,
Right.
how to give back without going broke. We learn how to show up as the way we want to show up without the parts that bring us down and lead to a mental health disorder.
Yeah, I think that's so important when you're looking at long-term effects of this type of behavior, that it can lead to you at some point just kind of breaking down, and just being so overwhelmed that you're not able to be productive in any area of your life. But I think because we do that, we're showing up for everything, everybody, that we almost begin to believe the hype. Like, we are actually Superwoman, right? I can do all of these things. And it's almost like you're drawing energy and like fulfillment and satisfaction from the fact that all of these people do need you, versus, kind of understanding that it's probably a better thing not to be needed by all of these people, and to empower them to do for themselves than to depend on you.
Absolutely.
To do for them. And I think it goes back to what you said about choice, right? And like, we have choices to make, right? And then other people have choices to make as well. So when you learn to empower people rather than having them depend on you, now they have a choice to make about, like, the thing that they're depending on you for, is it important enough for them to do for themselves? And us choosing to find our fulfillment in the things that are really important to us. And as mothers, especially, I think we feel like, like, our children are the most important things and people in our world, right? And if they're happy, I'm happy. Well, I can tell you from experience that is not necessarily true. And I am happy that they're happy, but my happiness suffered when I was putting aside all of the things that I wanted so that they had everything that they wanted. And those things, we're not talking about like physical things per se, but we're looking at like activity schedules, and like, now you don't have time to even rest, let alone spending time doing the things that you want to do, just time to really rest and recuperate and let your physical body be refreshed, right? You don't even have time for that. And we hold that as a badge of honor. You know, like, I will sacrifice myself for my partner, for my children, And it's like, I mean, I guess it's noble, but is it wise? And it's not your daughter to do that. You know what I mean? Like, why can't we all be happy? Why can't we all have our needs met? Why can't we all be fulfilled? And maybe that requires, and you can say in your expertise, if what I'm saying, getting ready to say is wrong, but maybe that requires that sometimes I am sacrificing, but I'm not always the one sacrificing. Sometimes you're going to sacrifice, sometimes you're going to sacrifice, and we're all willing to do our part, sacrificing for the greater good of everyone versus it primarily falling on one person who tends to be mom or wife.
You're on point. We should not sacrifice all the time. Sacrifice is not a one-way street. Or sometimes we can switch out sacrifice for compromise. Everybody does something. It doesn't have to just be mom. I think that's really important. And sometimes as mothers, we're giving more than enough. And we don't even realize we're giving more than enough. Like, we're good enough mothers. And then we're like surpassing that. And we're like, no, I have to do some more. I have to do some more. The kids love you. And that is the key that we talk about when we're in therapy. Are you doing it because you feel like, if I don't do these things, I won't be seen, I won't be heard, I won't be loved? We need to learn how to have that self-validation, that I am loved, my friends love me, my family loves me just because I am, not because of what I do.
That's good. Say that one more time.
My friends, my family, people love me just because I am, not because of what I do.
I love that. Now, I think we're going to wrap the segment on that, because I think ladies need to just sit and feel that and embody that. Now, before we wrap up, I do want to give an opportunity for you to share with our audience how they can connect with you and learn more about working with you.
Absolutely. My name is Seneca Williams, and you can find me anywhere on social media as Ask Coach Sen. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, formerly known as Twitter X, Facebook, all the platforms. And I'm the founder of the Conquer Network. So I am a therapist. I also do coaching, and I support professional, high-achieving women who are in service-based industries, and they're dealing with high-functioning mental health. So I look forward to hearing from you. The website is senecawilliams.com. And I definitely do respond to people on social media, or if they find my website and send a message, I respond to them there as well.
Awesome, ladies. So you got all of that. Make sure you reach out to Coach Sen and get whatever you need from her, coaching or therapy. And she'll let you know which one it is that you need. All right, ladies, stay tuned for what's next on The Coaches Are It.
To go after everything you desire.
I am here to encourage you to rise and write, because the world needs your message.
So that means I'm setting my own expectations for those roles versus living according to everybody else's expectations. And I found a place where I can really operate fully in my area of excellence and expertise, and pull from my experience to be the person, the woman that I was created to be. And that is what is informing who I am and who I show up as on a daily basis.
It does not honor your creator who put your dreams and desires and your goals inside of you.
All right, ladies, we are back with the next segment of the Coaches Are In, and we have a special guest with us today, Miss London Aubrey Daniels, and we are so excited to have her here. So we are doing something special in season 2 where we're spotlighting Black women who are doing wonderful things in the community, and we wanted to shine a light on London today. And I know you might be saying, but she's not a woman. She will be a woman, and right now, yes, we want to sow into her and encourage her with the things that she's doing. And based on what she's doing now, I can't wait to see what she does when she is grown. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, London, how old are you?
I'm 9 years old.
Wow. She's 9 years old. And can I tell you, at 9 years old, I was still afraid to sing solos in a church choir. So I am impressed. I am totally impressed.
Just a bold personality.
Yes, with what you're doing and your confidence and boldness to go after the things that you want at this point in your life. It is very, very inspiring.
Thank you. What you said, what I'm going to do when I'm grown, I've already decided. I decided I'm going to try and get people together to stop pollution. We need to save our planet. We need to stop that.
Yes.
That's good.
Awesome.
And also, lately, during my advice shows, I've been doing 10 parts of Save the World. Stop cutting down trees, do the 3 R's. You don't know the 3 R's, right?
No, I don't know the 3 R's. What are the 3 R's?
Reuse, recycle, reproduce.
Okay, I don't think I heard the reproduce part before, but yeah, that's good.
I probably said it wrong.
It's okay.
No, you're probably right, because I just never heard it before, but you probably are much more knowledgeable on the topic than I am.
So, if you see me and I'm grown, I'm going to be doing wonderful things to save our world.
Awesome.
And I'm going to keep on donating.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it.
I love that.
I love it.
No matter what.
So, London, let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned donating. So, talk to us a little bit about your lemonade stand.
So, I made a lemonade stand and I sold each cup of lemonade for like $2. Guys, it was so delicious. I tried it.
So, it was $2 a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And once everything was finished, we finished working, but we counted up the money and I had ended up with $1,000.
$1,000. So you raised $1,000 with your delicious lemonade stand.
Yeah, we had 3 flavors.
Okay.
To put in.
Okay.
We also had snacks. Wonderful.
Okay. And so then what did you do with the money that you raised from your lemonade stand?
Well, other people would keep the money for themselves. I'm not that person. I donated my money to a hospital, the Nemours Children's Hospital.
Wow.
Because I've gone there a while for checkups, and I've noticed that they don't have a lot, and they needed more stuff, children. So I thought about all those children, and I said, Mom, I want to do a lemonade stand and raise money for a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
My other decision was an orphanage, but I'll do that later.
Okay. I love the vision. So you had a plan, you had an idea, you shared it with your mom, she helped you, and you raised the money, and so you then donated it to Nemours Hospital. Nemours Hospital, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Look at the work that she is doing at 9 years old. I love it.
And $1,000, that is not chump change. She had to sell a lot of lemonade.
Yes, exactly.
At $2
I
a
don't know
cup.
how long I stood outside on that hot day.
How many days did you sell lemonade? Do you remember? 1 day.
I meant how long I stood on that hot day.
But it was a 1 day lemonade. I mean, you put the work in for 1 day and you raised $1,000. So I think what you're teaching us is that if we put our mind to something and really do the preparation, we can make an impact. We can do what we set our mind to do, correct?
Yes, but, well, I didn't really make all the money on it. A few of my friends and family donated some money. And I thank those people very much.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful work.
It is, and it shows that your family and friends believe in you to just donate the money to something that you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good to have that kind of support.
Well, I have been thinking about that since I was, younger. I've always thought in my mind, I want to do something good for the world.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But I was kind of too young. So I wanted to, so I waited and waited and waited, and I finally was able to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my mother built that lemonade stand every day after I went to school. We built and built and built.
So the physical lemonade stand, you two
You
built.
built it.
And then we painted.
Oh, wow.
Look at
Got a lot
this.
of paint on it. And I got paint permanently on my favorite shoes.
But it was worth it.
Yeah. Even though they're my favorite color, pink.
Wow, Dr. Cherita, I feel like she's taught us something here.
Yes, absolutely.
I was a little upset, but I thought to myself, it's all worth it for those children.
Yes,
Mhm.
I agree with you. Now, you mentioned your show,
Yeah.
the London's Advice Show.
London Advice Show.
London Advice Show.
There's no
Okay.
apostrophe.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the show. How did it get started? Where'd the idea come from?
Well, one day I was just, chilling out, watching the TV. Then all of a sudden, my mother said, "London, get up. We're going to do a video. And I'm going to give you something to say." And that's how the London Advice Show started. Great. But I always decided the advice. And I came up with the Heal the World advice. 10 parts.
Wow.
10 more.
Okay, so that's the series you're on now. Heal the World.
After that, it's going to be a lot. And on my birthday, February, I'm going to do a special video for all my subscribers.
Wow.
All 88 or more.
I was going to ask, how many subscribers do you have?
88 or more.
Wow.
We actually don't know. We haven't checked. My mother also hasn't posted the 3 parts of them.
Oh, so that's a hint for her to get to it.
Yeah.
Post the videos.
I reminded her 2 days. 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I reminded her 2 days.
Wow.
2 days.
So what's been some of the advice that you've given out on the show so far?
Well, how to drive. For people who don't know, even though I'm a kid.
So tell us a little bit about that.
What did you say?
So, basically, at every start of the video, say, "Hey guys, it's London from the London Advice Show. Today's advice is..." Then if I was doing a special advice, I'd say, "Drum roll, please." I had her do the drum roll on my own and my mom go, whatever she's. So basically, I said, you got to keep your hands on the wheel at 10 and 2. Make sure you know the difference from the gas pedal to the other pedal, the brake pedal.
Mm-hmm. That's important.
That is important.
Make sure you see the speed limit sign. I cannot tell you how many times my mom has not seen the speed limit sign.
I'm not sure that I'm not going to comment on that one.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I think she sees it. She just, just waits for me to tell her that because I like that.
Oh, okay.
I think she sees it. Yeah, she sees it. She just lets me tell her.
Okay.
So you've given some advice about driving. Have you had your subscribers share any comments?
Yeah, we looked at the comments.
Okay, has it been helpful? Has your advice been helpful?
Yes, very much.
Good.
In fact, on one of the comments, on 2 comments, it said 2 different things, but they might have meant the same thing. One said, "London, I love your advice. Please, please, please do more." The other said, London, if you don't stop doing advice, I won't know how to do it. Wait, no. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Well, the first one was very nice. They seem like they appreciate your advice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's so positive. And what you're doing is putting positive information out to the world yet again, helping the world. And I think that's wonderful.
Me too.
Yes. And as I said at the beginning, we are so inspired by what you're doing, and we just encourage you to keep doing it. And, anything you want to try, just, try it and see how you like it. And if you like it, continue it. If you don't, move on to the next thing.
Yep.
Yes. I know you're going to do great, great things.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it won't take you to be 21 or older to do it. You've already started, and you're going to keep doing things.
And plus, I'm trying to do something without trying. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to be like 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
16, yeah.
Yes. So for those of you who are tuning in, you can watch episodes of the London Advice Show on Instagram at JAYLON_channel. So go there and check out those episodes. And I'm sure you are going to like the advice. You are going to absolutely fall in love with London. She is hilarious. I love her personality. And I think you're going to learn a little bit from her as well.
Absolutely.
Take a note on her confidence. Borrow some of her confidence if you're lacking some of yours. If she can do what she's doing at 9, you can do whatever it is that you desire to do as well.
Absolutely.
At any age.
At any age. So thank you so much for joining us, London.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you for this interview.
All right, thank you. So ladies, we'll be right back with the next segment of The Coaches Are In. All right, now that was a powerful segment.
Yes. I was just like,
I know, right? Awestruck.
Yes.
it's just in awe.
Yes.
London
Totally
is
inspiring.
wonderful.
Wow.
Wonderful. And I really, I'm not just saying what I said to her
Yes.
to be saying it.
Yeah.
Right? I cannot wait to see what she does.
Like,
in her
remember
life.
London that we had on the show?
Yes.
Yes.
She is running the world.
Get some autographs.
Autographs, yes, we should have. Yes. All right, so now we do want to talk a little bit more about the book club that we have coming for you on this season. So we are adding a book club to The Coaches Are In, and we've selected a book that we're going to focus on for this season. So each month, once a month, we're going to go live for the book discussion.
Yes.
So we will be on YouTube live. We won't be in person, unfortunately, because we don't actually all live close to each other. So it'll be virtual, but we'll be live and we'll be talking about the book. And you as viewers will have an opportunity to participate in the book discussion
You want to do that.
live with us
Yes.
on
Wanna do that.
YouTube.
Yes.
So it won't just be us sharing our thoughts on the book. We want to hear from you as well. And if you're interested in doing that, you just need to go to thecoachesarein.com and fill out the contact form and submit that and let us know that you'd like to participate in the book club. And then we'll get in touch with you about that. So we are going to be reading
Reveal.
Rest is Resistance, a manifesto. And it is written by Tricia Hersey, the founder of the NAP Ministry. I like the way that sounds. The NAP Ministry. Because there are plenty of days when I wish I could
You
take
just
a
needed
nap.
that. Yes, and I'm starting to steal a little bit of time and start just resting.
Just close your eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is a New York Times bestseller. The author is a sister, but I thought that the topic is it's just really important. We talk about the need for rest, and we talk about self-care, and all of those things. But sometimes we just don't even know how
Right.
How to do it, how to rest,
Right.
how to still your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like you can't.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, we weren't taught to.
Yeah, we weren't taught to. We were always taught to be doing something, to be working, to be moving towards the next goal. So I'm very interested in hearing what she has to say.
Yes. And the nap
about
ministry.
rest. Yes, the nap ministry.
Like that in itself is like, sign me up.
Right. Right. Naps, a gift from God. Right. So let me just share what our discussion schedule is going to be. So our first discussion will be on October 23rd, where we'll be discussing the preface and the introduction. So yes, I actually want you to read those sections of the book.
Can't skip that part.
Right. And then the second discussion will be on November 20th, and we'll be discussing part 1, which is called Rest, and part 2, which is called Dream. And then our third and final discussion will be on December 18th, and that'll actually be the last episode for season 2. And we'll be discussing part 3, Resist, and part 4, Imagine. So I want you to go grab your book from your favorite book retailer. It doesn't matter to us where you buy the book from.
Or listen.
Or listen. Just go get the book.
Because you're too busy. You ain't got time for that.
Right. If you got, come on. If you feel like you don't have time, like just
it's for you.
Right. So grab the book and begin reading. We tried to break the sections down so it wasn't a whole lot of reading for a particular discussion, but you also have pretty much a month in between each reading to do the reading as well. So I think it's enough time for you to actually do the reading and stay up on top of it, and then join us live for the book discussion. So again, that is Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto by Tricia Hersey, founder of the NAP Ministry.
Love it.
Yes. So I'm excited about that. And I think I'm probably going to read it while I'm laying in my bed.
But don't take a nap.
I'm not. I won't take a nap. It may end up being
You might need to sit up in the bed.
I will. I'll be sitting up in the bed, but I will have the book. It'll probably be like one of the last things I do before I go to bed, I think.
It's a good time.
So I can focus. So I'm not just reading it to be reading it, but I'm reading it for understanding and to gain something from this. Not to just say that I read it. Hint.
There's no click notes for that.
Yes. So, ladies, I think that is it for this episode of The Coaches Are In.
Episode 1.
Yes, episode 1. We are so happy to be back.
Yeah, summer was summer, but now it's time to move on.
Oh, thank you for mentioning summer.
Perfect.
Yes. So for those of you who may have missed it, we did do a summer pop-up series where we gave you the opportunity to just tune in and learn a little bit more about each of us individually. So I think we kicked it off with Coach Joyce, which I should probably mention in case you missed her pop-up. Yes. Coach Joyce is not with us in season 2. She had some personal things and some other business things that she needed to tend to. So she is off working on those things. So we miss her. Yes. But, she is still part of the family, and she may pop in every now and then as well.
And I'll wear some red lipstick just for her.
Yeah, so she did our first pop-up series and talked a little bit about her work and what she does. And she gave some great tips and strategies around your career. And then, did share that she would not be returning this season. Because what was important for me, for you all to know, is that there was no drama in her not being on the show this season. So I just want to be clear about that. I just want to be clear about that.
It's all good.
Yes. And then I think, who did we do next? Which one did we do?
You, me?
Yes. Okay. So then we talked with Dr. Malaika. We talked about, her background and the work that she does, and she dropped some gems as well. And then we talked with Coach Allison.
Yes.
And we kind of like a little therapeutic session. We talking.
Kind of was holding some folks accountable.
It's a great conversation. And then we wrapped it up with one of my biz besties, Danita Mosley of DLM Presents, who came on and interviewed me.
Yes.
So you could learn a little bit more about me and the work that I do. So definitely go and check out the summer pop-up series if you missed it. And then be sure to tune in every Monday at 8 p.m. for season 2 of The Coaches Are In. You can find us on YouTube at The Coaches Are In. We may still show up on Facebook, but YouTube is really the place to be.
Yes.
That is really the place to be. So but when you get there, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like every episode that you watch, and be sure to watch every episode.
And share.
Yes,
And
share.
And share. Yes, that is definitely important, because what we're doing is really all about impact, and we need your help to help us reach more people who could benefit from tuning in and listening to what we're sharing and what our guests are sharing as well.
Yes.
All right, so anything else that we need to say to them?
I think that was the welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back.
You know, I got to take it out with a song.
Yes. All right, ladies. So we will see you next week, same time, same place on The Coaches Are In. But right now,
The coaches are
out. Peace.